Hello everyone. Public Speaking Ballerina channel is here with you. And we are continuing finally after 1 year break our series of interviews with immigrants in Denmark. And today we are going to SDU University, one of the biggest universities not only in Denmark but in the whole Europe. And today we are having a wonderful guest, Yulia Tinyakova. Hello Yulia.
Hello, nice to meet you all.
Thank you for your time, Yulia, and we are having interesting conversation as you have an interesting position. What is it?
I work as international coordinator at the Faculty of Business and Social Sciences.
Wow, so that means you are working with international students like me.
Yes, I do work with international students, potential international students, and also international projects.
Wow, so let's elaborate more on that. But before, my first question to you, how long have you been living in Denmark?
Well, this year is my 20th year in Denmark. I moved here around 20 years ago to study, and here I am still.
So congratulations with your anniversary, Yulia. And can you elaborate more on what your homeland, how did you decide to relocate here, and what is your language, knowledge, education, and language education before moving here?
Right, sure. So I come from Russia, from a town called Kaliningrad, and I came to Denmark 21 years ago to be an exchange student. I didn't know anything about Denmark before coming, apart from Hans Christian Andersen. I was studying at the university, studying languages, and at the end of my exchange period, someone asked me, "Do you want to study full-time here?" And I never thought about it. But coming back home, I was so in love with Denmark, then I decided, why not? So 8 months later, I moved to Denmark in 2005. So yes, I was studying English at my home university, and I had a little bit of knowledge of German as well as I had in school. And moving to Denmark, so I had my home language, my mother tongue, Russian. I had English, and I had a little bit of German. And moving here to Denmark, I didn't know yet whether I will learn Danish or not. I didn't have a plan to stay forever.
But its life is unexpected and unpredictable. So how did you decide to continue? You had your full-time position, and what happened? You fell in love in Denmark?
Well, I moved to study here at the master program. My studies were in English. So I didn't think I need to learn Danish, as everyone in Denmark speaks practically English. Moving here, of course, I had an idea that I have to find a job to support myself. And actually, I found it pretty easy and quickly. 2 weeks after moving to Denmark, I had my first job at the international office, not of SDU, but another institution. And I work in English. By the end of the first year in Denmark, people started asking me, "Are you staying?" Including my office, including my chef, and I said yes, perhaps I will, because moving back home, I wouldn't even have the opportunity to support myself there with the job I could have. So then they told me, "Then you go ahead and learn Danish, because it's getting late." And so actually I started to learn Danish 1 year after I moved to Denmark. I guess I'm pretty quick in picking up, so I was already enrolled in the module 4 at the time I started my language school career in Denmark. Yes, and 1 year later I graduated from the language school, but as probably many of you know, graduating from the language school and actually knowing how to speak Danish, there are two different things. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it took me some years to learn Danish.
Yeah, so was it hard, I assume?
It was hard. I thought, in one way, it was the easiest language I've ever looked into because of the grammar, and then it was the most difficult language because of the pronunciation. I heard Swedish before moving to Denmark, and I thought, okay, if it was like Swedish, then it's easy. It's nice. It's pleasant. And then I've heard Danish, and it's nothing to do with the Swedish nice pronunciation. I thought it was harsh. Like many people would say about Russian as well. But I guess I was quite surprised. It was hard, and the way I learned it in the end, I met my husband, my boyfriend at that time, And we started out that he spoke Danish to me, and I spoke English back. And at some point, we just changed into Danish.
And regarding Danish, did your German background help you because you knew German before?
I wish I could say yes, but it was the other way around. After learning Danish, my German became better. I never really spoke German, so I guess that's the reason. But a very good friend of mine, he is German, so his learning Danish was totally different story. He learned in just like 1 year.
Oh, yeah, there are some exceptions.
Yes.
Nice. So, Yulia, we talked about your first full-time position as a student at SDU, but what about job? Somehow you also got a job, your first job here, so how did you succeed in it and how it developed? Maybe it's the same position as now. Can you tell us about it?
Sure. So, well, I've been working as a student helper at another institution while studying here. And when I graduated, they have offered me a full-time job at that institution. So I was a project manager in different international projects, and I took care of exchange students in that institution, did different things. But then at some point I thought, okay, I've been here for more than 5 years, maybe it's time to move on. So I started to look into the what are the other kind of positions. And in fact, it took me around half a year, 8 months to get a new job. I was applying a lot of places. I was applying to all Danish universities across the whole country. I've been to the job interviews in all the big universities, Aarhus University, Copenhagen University, the smaller schools. And I think it was a very interesting experience as well. Each job interview is like a training for you. You get to know why you didn't get a job, and maybe you already at the interview know you will not get a job. Yeah. Sometimes it gets as a surprise you didn't get a job. It was quite an interesting journey. And then at some point I applied again. It was not the first time at SDU, and I was invited for the interview. After a couple of rounds of interviews, I got the job that I have right now. I've been in this position for more than 10 years now.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you have already celebrated your anniversary.
Yes, in fact, yeah. So I've been working at the same faculty for 10 years, doing different international things with the students, with recruitment, with projects, with events, and at the different departments as well. But everything with the international topic as in the top of it. I've been doing it for 10 years, and I really enjoy working at that position as well.
Very nice. I think your example is very motivational for our listeners. So let's talk about working in SDU, this magical place. For me, as a student, it seems quite smoothly and welcoming for everyone. What is your experience as international coordinator? What is the most difficult for you or the most pleasant in your job?
Right. I'll start with the pleasant. I love my job. That's why I'm doing it for so many years. I think it's fascinating working with so many different cultures and so many different students. Every semester I welcome more than 40 nationalities to campus, and seeing them being nervous or being kind of closed on the first day and hugging each other just 2 weeks into the semester, being open, proactive in the classroom, searching for new friends, contacts to the professors is very motivating. That was also the reason why I chose the job at that time. I wanted to work with something that gives other people opportunities in their lives. This is something that changed my life as well. Coming here as exchange student from a Russian town and not really having another opportunity in my life to move somewhere else, to have an interesting job where I travel each month. I could just dream about it. And now, 20 years into my professional personal life in Denmark, I can say that I love working with within this culture, within this institution, which gives other people the same opportunity that I have accidentally received 20 years ago. So this is something that motivates me quite a lot in my job. it's also something that can give challenges. When we work with different nationalities, it could be challenging because something that we say or do, or even the way we give a hand, or we give a business card, that can affect the outcome of the meeting. So this is what you have to be always aware of. Your own body language, your own language, the way you behave, the way you dress, it can affect the whole outcome of everything. So this is something that could be challenging as well. Another part of my job is sending students abroad, students from campus somewhere else in the world. That could also be challenging for them. Not everyone is ready. Not everyone would like to do something, but it's very hard to pack your life in one bag and then go for half a year, 1 year somewhere else in the world where the culture is totally different, both academic and society. So I have to prepare them. I have to talk them through and to tell that it will not be easy. It will be the best period of your life, but when you're in it, it's not always easy. So I really love it as well.
So you have to be also a psychologist, motivational speaker, and you have to share your immigrant experience, right?
Yes, I do it all the time with the students. Also, when they come on the very first day on campus, I tell them, I guess every one of you would like to have a job. Please network. Danish culture is a lot about networking. Please be proactive. Don't be shy. You're as good as everyone else. So yes, I do. I use a lot of those qualities and competences that you mentioned in the talks with the students, because they need it.
Oh, you have quite an integrative profession, I assume.
Yes, and I like it as well. Yeah.
Nice. So we talked about student support from your side, and what about job support? There is a huge problem to find our first job, student job or part-time job, and you have such a wonderful experience. So can you tell me more about success stories of yours and some piece of advice for seeking job?
Yeah, sure. So my story, of course, it's old, but I don't think it has changed so much since. My first student job, the way I found it, I passed by the office that I knew, working with international students. I didn't have anything to do anyways before the semester starts, so I suggested the office manager that I help out. I knew that they had students coming from the Baltic states, from Russia as well, so I told them, if you need any help with those students, I can speak their native language. I can also take care of them. I've tried it before myself. And he has agreed and says, yeah, please, if you don't have anything to do anyway, so please help me. And it was totally volunteering from my side in the beginning. But then he realized actually I was doing a good job during those 2 weeks of volunteering for him. So he offered me a very little job at his office, which developed in the end in the full-time position. And I can tell that the students that I meet here at SDU, they have pretty much the same story. Of course, they volunteer. It's really great way to get to know people, to show what you can, to show your engagement, to show your competences. SDU is a huge organization. There are a lot of people working here, and we share our knowledge about the good students who can actually do some good piece of job, and we advise each other as well. So the students who we employ in the end of the day, very often the students who might already have a little job at SDU or are very good students, or we have heard about them, and and of course everyone else is welcome to apply, and we do have a lot of interviews each time. But I see from experience that normally the students that they get the job in the end, they have done something else as well before getting this first job. I guess that's my advice.
Thank you. And what about networking rules? For example, would you agree to go for coffee with me if I would not be familiar with you already?
Well, I guess it depends the way people ask about the coffee date. I know that it's very well known in Denmark. A lot of people drink coffee to network, to ask about the job possibilities, and I think it's okay. And people who don't support that idea, they can just deny it. It's up to them. We all have our boundaries and schedules, etc. So I guess it will depend on my time whether I will agree or not to go and drink a cup of coffee. And as well, like, do I have anything to support you with or to advise you on? If I see the meaning in it, then of course I would like to help. This is what I do for all the international students as well. I suggest them, please come and join our events, please come and talk to us, because of course we would like to help. I know it's sometimes, as international students, it's very hard to get a job, especially if you don't speak Danish yet. So I would say yes, be proactive, ask people for a coffee date, ask people whether they know some kind of opportunities on campus or somewhere else, if someone is needing some kind of person, or who to ask, who to contact with. I would say networking and being proactive is a key element of getting the first job.
Yeah, I see. Thank you. It's, I think, very useful recommendation. So Yulia, can we talk a little bit more about integration to the job arbeidsmarket or working market, because I know it's hard for many internationals, and including me.
Yes, thank you for this question. I think it's very relevant. I have a lot of experience of employing student helpers at this institution, but also in the others. And I definitely can see a big difference between the local student helpers and the international ones. And even though the international student helpers do a really great piece of job every time we get one, they have difficulties integrating in the job market, in the job setting, I would say, in the department. Let me give you an example. Everyone's going for lunch break. Lunches in Denmark are quite early, around 12 o'clock. Most of the internationals is way too early. So a lot of international student helpers, they will say, no, thank you, it's too early for me, I will not join you for lunch. Lunches and the coffee breaks are one of the most essential meetings, like unofficial essential meetings in the job setting in Denmark. Please join lunches and coffee breaks. This is where you can get to know your colleagues, where you can connect. We very often, a part of discussing what we did during the weekend, we also discussed some work-related topics. So what are we going to work with in the next month? What are the events? Some good ideas. That all happens next to the coffee machine or during the lunch break. And sometimes we get great ideas with people from other departments. And I would say, of course, maybe you have a job right now in this department, but next year you don't know whether you have this job or not. So, and people from another department are sitting just next to you. So you can actually sell yourself, or you can show who you are. You can connect. You can get to know people. And the day when you don't have this job and you need to search another one, you already know like 50 people at SDU, and they know 50 others. So it's a huge potential of finding another job afterwards, or getting a full-time position when you graduate. There are a lot of possibilities at SDU, and don't miss that one out.
Don't miss that. And so key message here is that soft skills are most important. It's more important than the hard skills.
I would say they are not most important or more important, but they are as important, because it is a Danish mentality. You have to be able to do the small talk. You have to be able to be networking and being proactive, and being able to connect with other people. Sometimes you can be really smart and do different things, but if you don't connect to people, they're not likely to ask you again another time.
So human connection it is.
Yes, absolutely.
And what do you value in your profession? Is it also people and supporting them?
Yes, I love get inspired by other people doing maybe the same kind of job as I do, or about the students who are taking this challenging step, going to another foreign destination. I also love giving these people, international students especially, this opportunity to come to another country, experience it, and give them this, open the door for them to another world, for them getting to know another culture. And also, when you're sitting in the room with the 40 other nationalities, you can't avoid getting to know them. You can't avoid trying to understand them. And I believe in the end of the day, we are doing this world a little better place, because when people get to understand each other, they are likely to get to go an extra step to help each other afterwards as well.
Yeah, and we are making the world better with the help of SDU, with the help of education.
I believe so, and I hope so. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's quite an impressive job.
Yes, I love it, and I would advise everyone to, if you're considering coming and start in Denmark, or you're already in Denmark and you would like to start at SDU, it's a really nice place to start, because it's a very nice surrounding. The professors are really kind. It's very flight hierarchy. You're as good as everyone else. It's a place where you can develop yourself personally and professionally, and it's like a little town in town. SDU it's very nice and welcoming in many ways.
Yeah, I see. I attended myself a lot of events already during my first year here. And by the way, what kind of events do you offer at BSS?
Yes, so we have a number of events both on campus and online. For those who cannot join on campus, several times a year, several high schools from this island, but also from neighboring islands coming to SDU to hear about our programs. So we arrange that visits for them. Our professors and myself as well, we join different high schools events to tell about SDU, about the programs that we offer in English and in Danish here at our faculty.
So I see there is a lot of opportunities here at SDU, and you can explore them on our webpage at SDU. I will put link in the description, unless we can talk about it in hours here. So to conclude our interview, Yulia, what are the most important things to know? Maybe 3 pieces of advice from you for whom would like to start career in Denmark.
All right, I would say, even though it is very easy to be yourself in Danish society in English, learn Danish. All the small talks, all the small little things to discuss, it's easier to do in Danish for all the Danes. And even though they speak perfectly well English, they prefer talking in Danish at the working place. So, advice number 1, learn Danish. Even though you're not perfect, speak it, they appreciate it a lot. Advice number 2, don't be shy. You know yourself best. And you know your competences, you know what your heart is telling you to do, and sell your competences. Tell them what you're good at. Do what you're good at. Don't be shy, as I said. Try it out. Reach out to people. Tell what you can offer them. Don't concentrate too much on yourself, but what you can actually, how can you translate your competences into their setting? What can you do for them? And number 3, do all the integrate into the Danish society. Go and drink a cup of coffee with them. Join the lunches. Join afternoon club. A lot of networking happens in the afternoon in the chess club, in the football club, in the tennis club, in the board games club. Join those clubs. A lot of people working in different very high positions in HR. They are also members of those clubs. If you have a hobby, please chase your hobby in the afternoons, and this can give you also an opportunity to get your first job.
Wow, that's interesting, and I assume useful. At least it's very helpful for me. Thank you a lot, Yulia, for your time, for this wonderful discussion, and I wish you great success with all your plans.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. And stay tuned, guys. Subscribe to this channel, Public Speaking Irina, or with Irina. And we have a lot of interviews with other professionals from different parts of Denmark. Be safe.